If we can see ourself, we're standing too close, or we are perceiving at too close a distance from what we from anything. We're just not perceiving things. We're just at right in front of the wall. When we're standing or looking at a piece of artwork on the wall, and our nose is almost touching it. That's my experience. Someone I love dearly just sent me a great thinker YouTube video about a great thinker, someone who's discovered something and is sharing it with the world, regardless of its popularity. What he's discovered is actually very true in a sense of logic and just basic truth. It's just true. But it's very much like standing in front of the picture, because if you were to, we stand and we look at that picture, we're so taken in by this framed piece of artwork that we just have our nose right to it, and we think we're seeing the whole picture. We've discovered something very interesting, because we're actually perceiving the picture at all is a huge move in the right direction. But it needs to go back. So we need to step back as far from that picture as on the wall as we can. So far away, if we could go 1,000,000 miles away and still look at the direction of that picture, then we would start to see the picture. We're so taken by this idea of our lives. If you were to liken the picture that was on the wall to our lives as we know it in this world, taking into account and consideration all the different theories, ideas, beliefs that everyone has on this earth and everything, we would be looking right at the picture. We might not have our nose touching it, but our scope of our world, everything that we knew, would be inside that frame. That's our level of enlightenment. It's within that frame of that picture. But if we step back, keep stepping back as far as we can, that is where I have experienced, I'm not saying that's where everybody will or whatever, but that's where I've experienced it to be. I've experienced absolute clarity in moments, and in ever increasing moments, but in moments where I have stepped back away from that picture, just gotten way back. And pretty soon, everything, I guess that's where I started to come up with the idea of losing definition, is because I noticed that definition was constantly putting little frames around everything I believed and thought. And I kept stepping back. And, it's like I said in reply to that sharing that person did with me, is it's like looking at the earth from outer space versus being right here in the middle of New York City and during mid-rush hour. So we're right in the heart of it, typically with life. We're right in the heart of New York City during rush hour, and all the noise and all the ideas and all the things going back and forth and all the intellectual arguments that, this is this and that is that, and everybody's, got their sense of what enlightenment is. But if you just keep stepping back, if you're in space, looking down at the earth, then I think the picture would be more comprehensive. Because now we see that the earth is whole with all of us on it. Hopefully we see that. We see that it's whole with all of us on it. It's water, it's trees, it's animals. We see that that picture is becoming more complete. And as we step back further, we can see its relation to the rest of the universe and all the planets and so on, and our solar system, I mean. And then we step back further, we can see if we have a greater understanding, we can see its relation and function, or if you will, or just its purpose of existence inside the universe. And we step back further, we can start to see how perfect everything just is still, absolutely still. That vision from space of Earth was already very quiet. But we step back further, we start to lose the sense of self. Because already, as we're standing there perceiving Earth, we're starting to see ourselves in relation to the Earth. So we still have a sense of self. That's why I was saying in the beginning, if we have a sense of self, if we feel our self, we're standing too close. Now, if you keep backing up, like I was saying, going way back in the universe and all the universes, whatever, multiverse, as far back as you can go. I'm not Mr. Astronomer. But if you go back as far, keep going back and keep going back, the sense of self goes away. And it's just a beautiful thing, because all of a sudden we start to just have this quietness, and we start to feel interestingly powerful. And like, it's not like we feel individual in power, but I feel integrated in a way with all that it's just like I have a presence and maybe an influence in all of those places. Super amazing. As we have those experiences, we step back. We start to see how the energies and how things integrate. It's kind of like another similar or whatever image is you go to the seashore and you dig a hole, and the water from the ocean washes up and starts to fill in that hole, and eventually you can't even see it anymore. That is kind of how I see how we, in the voids, and I'm getting lost in this one. Distracted by a thought. Anyway, we see how the voids are filled, like see the voids in energy. Like we see somebody has some sort of a issue. We feel somebody has some sort of something that's not positive. Well, about their character, their nature, something they did. And we step back, and all of a sudden we start to see the energies of life in this earth and everything integrated, and we start to see that those things just kind of blend in and then just disappear. So there's really nothing to hold to anything. It's nothing to say, this is right, that's wrong. This is good, that's bad. Any kind of differentiation goes away. It becomes this amazingly beautiful integration of everything. And everything has this perfect connection with everything else. I guess that's where I feel like the power comes from, is like, you don't see yourself as being limited to your influence as a being, like right now here on earth. You start to see yourself as being part of everything else. And so there is no need to influence anything else, but there is definitely communication and connection, which I think people with communication and connection probably don't feel like they need to influence anything else. So remember, just in case you ever feel like you're feeling yourself, like this real need for self, or really wanting to know yourself and have that self word going on, you're trying to ground yourself or whatever, you're doing with yourself, just notice how close you're standing to the picture. See if there's any room for stepping backwards, taking in a larger picture, and see if you can actually get to the point that you don't see yourself anymore. Thoughts for now.